I'm Arya, and today I'm going to assess my speaking using IELTS Pulse AI-powered speaking mock test. Let's see how it goes.
Hello, my name is Alex, and I'll be your examiner for this IELTS speaking mock test. This test has 3 parts, and will take around 11 to 14 minutes. Shall we begin?
Sure.
For part 1 of the test, I will ask you some questions about yourself. First, can you tell me about where you live?
I'm currently living in Kathmandu, the capital city of Nepal. I was born and raised here, so I have some sort of attachment to this place in a way, and I love living here as well.
Thank you. Can you describe the type of accommodation you live in?
I live in a house in a joint family with my family, where it's basically 3 generations living under the same roof. So it's a quite nice place, but it's quite congested because it's in the center of the city, so there's not much open spaces to walk around, but it's still nice.
What do you like most about the area you live in?
I'd say how close everything is. Like there's a lot of schools in that same area. The hospitals are pretty nearby. The grocery stores are pretty close. So that's what I love about the place the most.
Could you tell me a little about your daily routine?
I don't really have a routine to begin with. Like my days are pretty spontaneous. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go back to bed, it's just unplanned, and I don't like to plan my days out like that. So I don't really have a schedule.
Thank you. Let's talk about leisure activities. What do you usually do in your free time?
There's lots of things I love to do in my free time because I have a lot of hobbies. The most common one would be I just start watching a movie, I start random TV shows. Most recently, I've been getting into playing musical instruments, so that's something I love to do in my leisure time as well.
Thank you. Now for part 2, I am going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say, and you can make notes if you wish. Here's your topic. Describe a place you have visited that you would like to go back to. You should say where the place is, why you went there, what you did there, and explain why you would like to go back to this place. Your 1 minute preparation begins now. Yes, this is your preparation time. You can take up to 1 minute to think about your response and make brief notes if you'd like. I will let you know when your time is up.
Can I begin?
Yes, you may begin now. Please speak for 1 to 2 minutes.
So one of the places that I've visited that I'd like to visit again would be Pokhara, because it's a pretty common vacation destination, and I've been there quite a few times as well, but it just holds an emotional spot for me because that's my family's go-to vacation destination. So, and it was also my first trip outside of Kathmandu because I lived in Kathmandu my whole life, and the first time I moved out of the city, the first time I got to experience the hills from close, the first time I got to see the clear rivers was when I was traveling to Pokhara. So it holds quite a bit of an emotional space with me, and also it just holds a lot of memories. Plus, Pokhara is a lot more quiet and a lot cleaner than Kathmandu is, and it's just a peaceful place to be in. That's why I'd love to visit Pokhara again.
Thank you. Let's move to part 3, where I'll ask some questions related to the topic you've just discussed. Why do you think some places become popular tourist destinations?
That's a quite tricky one because you can't really put parameters onto tourist destinations like that, because some people might find it interesting just because of their own, subjective opinions. Some people might find the history behind the place quite intriguing, so it just depends from person to person.
How do you think tourism affects people who live in those areas?
It creates a positive impact because when a place is declared as a top tourist destination, that definitely increases tourist inflows. So that would mean a lot of people coming into that place, spending more money. So there's a lot of economic activity that happens just because of the place being declared as a tourist destination. So that means more money for people living in that area. So it creates a positive impact, I'd say.
Thank you. How important do you think it is for a tourist destination to have a variety of activities and attractions?
Well, again, depends on what kind of a destination it is, because if we're talking about destinations like Everest Base Camp, it wouldn't be practical to add in a lot of activities there because the main attraction is the mountain itself. But if we're talking about other destinations like the city center of a city, maybe adding in activities that would be relevant for the tourists that are being targeted. So it just depends on the kind of destination that it is.
And finally, do you think some places can become too popular for tourism to the point that it negatively impacts the environment and local culture? Yes, that's definitely possible, because the more people that visit a place, the more human activity there will be, and naturally, there'll be more waste generated. Maybe the culture and traditions of that area could receive negative influences, and there'd be lots of newcomers bringing in trends that might dilute the authenticity of the local culture. So yes, I'd say some places can become overly crowded to the point of such negative effects.
Yes, of course. It's also very important to administer the kind of tourist activities that are going on in top destinations so that these kind of negative activities are avoided.
Thank you very much for your answers. That brings us to the end of the IELTS speaking test. Now, I'd like to provide some feedback. Fluency and coherence. You spoke with good fluency and connected your ideas well. However, some responses contained pauses or repeated phrases which slightly affected the flow. Practicing more structured answers can help. Lexical resource. You used a range of vocabulary, including words like subjective opinions, economic activity, and authentic. Expanding your range further with synonyms or topic-specific terms could enhance your score in this area. Grammatical range and accuracy. Your grammar was mostly accurate, though there were a few minor issues such as verb usage or sentence construction. For example, it creates a positive impact could be elaborated as it has a significant positive impact. Pronunciation. Your pronunciation was clear and understandable throughout the test. There were minor slips, but nothing that hindered comprehension. Band score. Estimate. Based on your performance, I would estimate your speaking score to be around 6.0 to 6.5. To aim higher, focus on improving accuracy in grammar, and expanding vocabulary. Thank you.
Well, the test went pretty well. I've given the IELTS test before, and this felt quite close to how I felt on an actual IELTS test. This didn't feel like I was talking to a phone. It felt like I was actually talking to an IELTS examiner. What I also loved about the test was at the end, I also got some pretty good constructive feedback on how I did. IELTS Pulse was really good at pointing out what I was good at as well as what I was lacking at. So that helps me improve my speaking further.